we getting that.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Lee Coleman. This is Leezfeed. And today we have a very distinguished guest, Mr. Frank Smith, who's a former city clerk for the city of East St. Louis. I've been knowing his family for years and years and years. He's presently the campaign manager for the ticket that is headed by President Mayor of East St. Louis, Mr. Robert Eastern. So welcome to the Leezfeed.
Thank you, Lee.
Yes, I just wanted to get you here and see how the campaign is going. And first of all, when is the election?
Election April 4th. And I believe it's like, what, less than 2 weeks.
2 weeks away. So how have things been going campaign-wise for your team?
Well, so far so good. You know, I mean, you know how campaigns go, but I think we're on track, you know, to be successful. The rumors are that we're losing, that the other team that's headed up by the other gentleman is winning.
Okay.
And that we've lost. So we just listen to the rumors and keep moving.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The name of the game now, in most jurisdictions now, is the battle for absentees.
Well, it's about vote by mail. Where you don't have to have an excuse to vote. Early vote by mail. You don't have an excuse to vote there. But if you're going to vote absentee, you need to say why you're going to do it.
But there's no, basically, anything that you say is going to be accepted.
Yes.
It used to be a little bit different. You have to prove that you're going to be out of town.
Right.
Or you were sick or something like that.
Right. Well,
so you can pretty much go to the Board of Election. Would they allow you to see what the other team is? Or do you have to know the total number of absentees that are?
Well, I was hoping to show you on my phone what the count that we receive every evening from the Board of Election. According to those counts, it's been about 730 votes have been cast already.
Okay. And you pretty much know how many, you know how many you've collected, but you don't know how they voted.
We know we've collected quite a few, but we don't know how the vote is going. You never can tell how a person is going to vote.
Right. So what is your role in this election?
My role kind of is the, you said, chairman of the committee of Heart for the People, Passion for Change. I was the former chairman of the East St. Louis Democratic Party, in which we are now in competition with. The reason being is, number one, I'm no longer chairman, and they took advantage of me really when I was ill. But right now I'm back on my feet, and I'm working with the mayor trying to elect him because they did him a dirty turn. In most elections, as this, the incumbent is the one that will be endorsed by the party.
Okay, that's been standard practice.
That's been the standard practice for years, but here it goes. Situation where the party is not endorsing the mayor.
And what would that be?
Oh, many reasons. I think one of the most reasons that they're not endorsing him is because he didn't do as they wanted him to do these last 4 years, giving them demolition contracts, giving them some of the money from the COVID money. They thought they should go a certain way. Which I think the mayor tried every way he could to please everyone by business retention. He put so much there. He bought brand new police cars. He bought brand new trucks for the city garage that was falling down. I think he's done a lot with the, and then he put 10 million in the pension fund, where the policemen were intercepting all the money coming into the city. He put 10 million in that. And in the debate last week, he announced that he still has 20 million of those. And he's sending out surveys to see how the people would want him to spend that 20 million.
So who's on your ticket and who's on the opposition ticket? We can say that.
Well, I can't really say who's on the opposition ticket because I have blinders on. I only see one ticket.
Okay,
I can't see another ticket.
Who's on your ticket?
Okay, we got the mayor, White Nash, Robert Eastern III. Treasurer, we're running Chantel Miller. Okay. Tommy Dancy is being reelected. We still has him on the ticket. They did him.
He's for council.
Yeah, they did him the same thing. He's an incumbent, but they did not pick him up. The councilwoman who's new is the Keisha DeRan McLeod. Okay. And like I said, Nikisha, she's new to the game of politics, but she worked for the district over 20-some years. Presently a clerk at old Lincoln Middle School. Used to be the old Lincoln High School, Lincoln Middle School now. Also, for the Park District, okay, it'll be Mr. James Ross, who's running as re-election. They didn't pick him up as an incumbent either. Then we've got some newcomers for our school board. We think we need a new look. We think we need people who are committed. So therefore, we've chosen Brenda Akoff-O'Neill. Brenda worked for legal aid for quite some time. She retired from there. Brenda has acquired her degree in law enforcement. Okay, and she also has her master's. Okay, she's done great work, and I think her master's was in theology. Now she is working on a doctorate.
Okay,
so very smart girl, and lady, I should say. Latoya S. Mosley. Latoya is young. Latoya has a couple of kids that are in school district, and she has her own daycare. She does a great job with kids, so she has kids at heart. You see what I mean? Okay. And we also have, last but not least, Miss Yvette A. Turman. Yvette is one of the business ladies there in the community, and she states she's had a very successful business. She's the flower lady. She owns Petals and Pearls, okay. which is a great, it's a great flower shop.
For the most part, you feel your team is highly qualified for this endeavor? I
feel my team is highly qualified for this endeavor. I want to say this, Lee, the mayor. I was from the last term, and I've watched them over the last 4 years. And I believe the mayor has an honest approach. I don't believe it, I know it, to the city. And I saw him grow into this office. He's very mature now in this office. He understands the role of the mayor, the role of the city manager, and the role of the council itself.
Okay. What's one thing I want to talk about before we go further? Mm-hmm. You have the commissioner form of government, which East St. Louis had once upon a time. Mm-hmm. You have the automatic form of government, which the city had once upon a time. Now we're with the council management form. Yeah. So a lot of people might not think or understand that this is an entirely different form of government. Automatic form, you have wards. Right. You had an alderman representing a ward. Right. Now we're under council management, and the people are elected. Council members are elected at large. So there's no particular leader, right, in leader. Particular area. So the role of the city manager. Role of the city manager is supposed to be to operate the day-to-day business of the city, which what the mayor would have done under the automatic form. In the strong mayor form. Yeah. The mayor would be doing that, which the mayor would be held accountable. This commission form, council form of government, I mean, is outdated. It's way outdated. Okay, with the infinite wisdom of our late state representative, Wendell Young, she and a few others decided that the government that we had was not working for the people, which I thought it was, because it gave every area of the city a representative that they can hold accountable. Where it is now with the city manager form of government, they don't know that the city manager running everything every day. He's the executive. He's the chief executive. Exactly. But anything go wrong, they look at the mayor, because they're thinking back to the automatic form. Automatic form administrator. Yes. Okay. So compare the two mayoral candidates. Now I want to do that. Compare the two mayoral candidates because of their experience, their management style, their temperament. Okay. Let's take Charlie Powell. Okay. Let's just say, Okay, mayoral candidate.
Mayoral
He's
candidate.
proposing Mayor of St. Louis.
He's
now.
proposing the incumbent,
Mhm.
endorsed by the organization, okay, being carried by the organization, okay, but he's lacking leadership. He has never performed in a leadership role. I love Charlie. I love his dad, his mom. I love them all. Okay, but there's a complete distinction between Charlie the Third and Charlie Jr., his dad. Okay, I'm not saying that the man is not a brilliant guy. I'm not going to even deal with that. What I'm going to talk about is leadership within the city and business people that have gyrated around the mayor. Okay, people that's talking about building hotels, people are talking about the state troopers coming in, IPS, people that's building 25, $200,000 houses, creating another subdivision within the city, which would be Lansdowne up over by like Jackie Joyner's place. And as we go, these things will be expanded, especially with the fact that the ISP is moving in over there at the old Pfizer ground over there. They're picking up all that area over there, which means that you may see it already, the corporation with the city and the state, which is great, okay? We're afraid that if this election doesn't go the right way, that we're gonna lose the things that we were able to gain.
Is this a commitments race? Usually it's the party that's in power, which is always the Democratic Party here in East St. Louis. If they endorse a person, 99% of the time they win. So is this which is what you would call a commitments race?
When you look at it, Lee, I think they would think that this is a commitment race, but they got another thing coming. They might have taken the title from you. They didn't take the man or the knowledge. And what we're doing, we're organizing. We've been able to place citizens and people that we've been working with over for the last few months or so in different spots. Okay, other cities, different precincts, 25 precincts. We got people representative in every precinct, the same as a precinct of Middleman. They're getting vote by mail, and also we're getting vote by mail. So when you asked the distinction between the two, okay, we're moving in the same direction that the commitments would be moving, or is moving in right now. All those 1,700 and some ballots are not just his. A lot of them are ours. And I think that once they open up the machine,
The people have the knowledge of all those accomplishments you just got to talk about.
the mayor.
Yeah, with the mayor, not
With-
just recently, but ongoing. Have they?
Yeah.
Are they aware of those things?
Well, I think the mayor has sent out newsletters and what have you. Well, you know, we have some very difficulties right now trying to get everybody aware of what's going on. The mayor has mailed out letters to each and every one in the community that are voters of voting age. He's mailed out letters. He got some other letters going out just before election day. We got guys out hitting doors, placing literatures in people's doors. We got guys picking guys up and walking them in at the Board of Election. So very few people don't know it's an election they put it forward.
Here's one thing I want to ask you about. You know, over the years, the city has had 3 early warning sirens that became inoperable because of the high cost of rehabilitating them and keeping them going. Do they know that there are going to be 7 early warning sirens in the city of East St. Louis?
No, and they didn't know that you would be the man that's heading that up.
7 new sirens.
So you could tell us how many we got here.
That's something that's nice. I want to put that out to the people if they don't know that.
Right.
They're going to repair the 3 existing ones and add 4 additional ones. In fact, they're going to the city manager and I talked today, and they're going to be deciding what locations or the additional 4 are going to be. So for man-made and natural disasters, the city will be covered from east, west, north, and south. And there was an acoustic analysis done by one of the top early warning siren companies in the country. And it's gonna be no cost to the city.
Yeah, well, Lee, this is a time for me to point you out and say that you've done a great job. You navigated us through the floods, okay, and that was really great. You worked and got FEMA in because FEMA was not coming. You did your hard work with that, and we really appreciate what you've done. In fact, I do, and I'm sure the mayor and all the rest do. And a lot of the people in the community don't know it was you who was doing that. But I give credit where credit is due, and you've done a great job in the position that you're holding for the city. And I couldn't have thought of anyone else that would have been able to do the hazardous kinds of things that you've been able to do with our hazmat program.
And one of the things I want to say in reference to that, I had full cooperation of the city manager and the mayor and some council members also. So we were able to do as the consultant, not a regular employee, a consultant. We were able to do some things and we had their full support. Just like, for instance, the COVID program we had inside the city. Since October 21, we've had over 3,000 tests for our employees. Had less than 10 positives because of the protocol that we put in place with the mask and the social distancing and things of that nature, and the tracing of those who may become infected. So that's a very successful thing.
You've done a great job. Well, I can't.
I'm not here for me, but I'm just saying.
I know we're not.
And the city manager and the city council.
Let the credit fall where it's at. The mayor, the city manager, the mayor led it. But you were a very integral part of that. Had it not been for your guidance, we would have had a little problem, especially FEMA. FEMA wasn't coming in. You guys have had to document. I didn't say I did, because these last few months have been rough on me. I've had a battle with kidney cancer, where they removed one of my kidneys. I've had lung cancer, which I had to go through radiation, and this was in the last few months last year.
You look great, man.
I feel great now at this time, but the God is good, and I have to recognize the fact the Creator is great. Okay, it wasn't just me, and I have to appreciate my wife because she nursed me like a baby. Yeah. And I had that bell, I kept it ringing.
You ring the bell. Right. People don't know. You and I, we've been knowing each other for centuries.
Right.
Your brother Elijah and I went to grade school together.
Right.
And I knew Eddie. And we were in City Hall together. Right. With the youngest mayor ever to take an office in East St. Louis, Carl Officer. Carl Officer, yes. Back in '79 when you were city clerk and Charlie was the treasurer.
I was the first black elected city clerk.
Right. And I was the purchasing director back there in the day. And I thought we did a pretty good job.
We did.
Let me ask you a question. They had a debate last week. How well do you think that debate I think was in terms of telling the citizens who is best qualified and ready to serve?
Well, I say this, Lee. The mayor sat in his seat and he stayed there. The mayor was able to articulate everything that he has done in the city. Okay, any question that came to him, he was ready to answer that question. I think he did well with that. I think that Mr. Powell said he had another engagement. Well, what was more important to deal with? Was it this debate that we were having so that the people can see the difference between the two? Or was it a thing that he had to rush to get down?
So did he leave early?
He left. He didn't answer but one question. And that question was, what makes him ready to go for mayor? He said one thing: I will deliver. I will deliver. Deliver what? What are you delivering that you're not delivering as President Pro Tem?
So what is President Pro Tem?
President Pro Tem is the guy who, in the absence of the mayor, will serve as the mayor. President Pro Tem is the guy who puts together the agenda, make recommendations. So President Pro Tem is the one that would say, Mayor, we need to clean the city. I got it on the agenda. We need to look at it.
And he can also determine what goes on the agenda.
What goes on the agenda is proposed. What's not going on the agenda, okay? And if he was sincere about that, there's no reason that he would be running against the mayor now because they would have accomplished the same thing. You see what I mean? But I think he's a little. And then let me say this: he was finance chairman. In other words, he knew where the money was at, where the money was going, and how it was going. I think that if he had waited, he and the mayor would make a great duo, okay, in terms of running the city. I just think that the mayor might be just a little head above him in terms of running the city, because it's a day-to-day operation, whether you're there, whether you're full-time or not. The mayor's there every day. the mayor's there, and the city manager depends on the mayor, okay, because he's there, he sees everything, he knows what's going on, he's there just as if he was there full-time, and he's there full-time, as which he was a full-time mayor. And while I'm talking to you, I think that we're gonna have to go back to that full-time mayor, that strong mayor form of government.
It's gonna take a referendum.
It's gonna take a referendum. And as we talk about a referendum, let's talk about this. The fact that on the ballot, we have shall the city cease being a home rule. And that should be no.
So what is home rule? Let's talk about home rule.
Home
That's
rule.
very important.
Yeah.
People know what home rule is.
So let's talk about home rule for a minute. And home rule.
Who put that on the table?
The mayor.
Okay.
The mayor,
okay.
The mayor did.
But who was suggesting that we not continue to be home rule?
No one is saying it yet, but they don't have this on their ballot, on their run. Okay. But the mayor is trying to let people know that it's important for them to go vote and vote for this home rule and say no for home rule, because the trick there is, shall the city cease from having home rule? And if you're not aware of that word cease, you'll think that question would be yes. But that question would cease.
The referendum real tricky.
Exactly.
You vote for something, but you're voting against it because you don't understand it.
There you go. And exactly that's what they've done here. Okay. And we've got to push that, because if we don't get home rule, we would lose our board of election, which is very important. Which is very important. People would have to go to the county to vote. If they were going to vote by mail, if they were voting in person, they'd have to go there. A lot of our business being handled now in City Hall will be handled by the county, such as the community development block grant. We were ready to get that.
You lose the ability to be an autonomous
of the county.
So you have to go to the county for everything. You're still trying to take things as we speak.
Yeah. Health department.
Did they get block grant too?
Yeah.
So
yeah, they got block grant, but we're working to get it back. And the way that we had to get it back, the mayor had to make sure that our audits were good. Now we're GATA certified, I'm sorry. And we're able to now apply for grants and what have you. And we're also able, like they did, they gave our housing authority back to us. Right. But we could lose our housing authority again if we can't show home rule. Okay, that's me, home rule. Normally, home rule would come automatic if we had 25,000 people. But since the census said, which I don't agree with the census, that we only got 18,000. And I'm trying to figure out why we got 18,000, only got 18,000 people when we got almost that many kids. I don't see how the census came out the way it did.
The census is not very accurate.
It is not very active at all, not for us, okay? And one of the reasons being is that the people who went to that door could not get the proper information, because the house might have had more than 3 or 4 people in it when it should have only had.
And then you got to think that some people, when the government come knocking on your door, they don't want to give up all their information because they're afraid that it could be a negative effect if they did that.
That's exactly, and that's why they give, just, okay, I'm here, my daughter's here, boom, that's it. But it might be son, his wife, and whomever else that might have been bad time, have moved back to mama. Right. You see what I'm saying? But they don't want to be counted. The only one that could have really counted those people was the precinct commander. Because when the precinct commander go to that door, he goes there with something.
Mm-hmm. And the people know him.
And they know him.
And they trust him.
And they trust him.
Get the information.
And he pretty much know who's in that house anyway.
How many registered voters are they saying we have?
They're saying we got about 18,000, 17,000 registered voters. So we have 18,000 people total, 17,000 registered voters, and 8,000 kids in school.
All of these people are voting age and above, but there's no one below that age. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
But there's a movement afoot in this country to go into Black communities across the country,
right,
to disenfranchise them, to have the emergency managers,
right,
financial advisory authorities, to take over the school board,
right,
take over the like in Michigan, Flint, Michigan,
right,
the emergency manager did that thing and flipped the water source to another area. They got those people that led. So there's a foot, and Black folks better get aware of this.
Right.
That they're trying to come in and take over your city, especially when you got prime real estate like we do in East St. Louis.
Right. Perfect example. If you recall a while back, I was fighting, trying not to get the gerrymandering as we received it in our community, where they took over half of our voters to another area.
And something?
As a result of that, we now have Republican state rep, and we've never had that before.
And they took our senators and our reps and put them in a district that was basically red.
That's exactly right.
Blue. That was done. So why didn't we're not getting our job done as far as citizens goes, total, and not one particular entity, but all of us. We need to be aware of that, and we need to fight against that, because I think Representative Victoria Greenwood lost because of this.
Yeah, she did. I mean, there's no way that she should have lost that election. Okay. Even though they're saying we don't have people, I think that what happened is not only did they disenfranchise us with that gerrymandering, but I also think that the guys that should have been carrying her were more concerned with this election than they were with that. You see what I mean? And in the process of that, we lost a jewel.
We lost a jewel, yes.
And that jewel was
she was a hardworking person. She was
Latoya Greenwood. Exactly. And I understand that she's going to run again. And I think that we need to concentrate and put all our efforts into making sure that she wins this time by getting out and turning out the vote. This particular time, we only voted about 5,000. Okay. We needed to at least vote about 9,000, 10,000 people.
We normally vote 8.
We made 8, 8, 5, whatever.
We need to up that.
We need to up that. Normally 8. Okay. Even the last time they ran, we bust that wide open when the mayor ran the last time. So I know that the people are there. The thing is getting them out, and that they not be complacent. If we're not careful, in the city of East St. Louis, the homeowners will not be making decisions for mayor this year. It will be who? Those young guys that normally vote because somebody gave them something. Okay?
Is that still going on?
And that number, undercover, yes. And I'm not here to put anybody or throw anybody under the bus. I'm only here to make the citizens aware that if they're not careful, they will not get the candidate of their choice or the candidate that would be best for the city.
So do you think that the mayor's heading in the right direction with the programs that he's accomplished and things that he's got on the table?
Oh, great. Yeah, he's got a lot of things on the table. You got the racetrack, Francis Fuqua, who's ready to build some hotels. Why is he ready to build these hotels? Because that racetrack is going to, it attracts millions of people. And that million of people that's coming in from out of town, from all over the country and all over the world, is going to have somewhere to house. And they want to be close to the track. So those hotels in East St. Louis will be where? Close to the track. The state police is right there in the area where he's building the hotel. So that means it's what? It's safe. So, the mayor is working it.
What about the Broadview Hotel?
Okay.
How did they come along with that?
Let's talk about that. And by the way, the opponent, as it stands right now, is not for that. But it's been approved for about $43 million. And it's a Black lady. from out of St.
Yaffet,
Louis.
Elamine.
Yaffet,
I know her well.
Elamine.
A good,
Beautiful.
decent, solid,
Like
happy
woman.
building queen.
Exactly.
I know her well.
Knows her work, knows her
She's
job.
dedicated to her community.
That is true.
I know her
And she
well.
put so much of her own money in this project, okay? But we got collaboration with the state because of Ms.
Tax
Greenwood.
credits and things like that.
Okay, we tax credits and the whole 9 yards. That she was able to put all that combination together and come up with $43 million, that this hotel will house senior citizens downtown, close to the Metrolink, everything centered. And as we began to deal with downtown, all the shopping and all would be right there in that area, because that is a medical district and it can be developed.
Well, that's great. Anything else other than the Broadview and the racetrack that you can think of?
Well, I know the mayor right now is concentrating on the sewers, as you know. There's a couple of deals that may be on the table. At this time, I'm not able to or now allowed to speak to them, because if we did, we may cause more confusion than what we got. And I don't want to do that.
But those things are on the table, because I know as the Sultan, I know we've talked to people about that. And there's some consideration with regard to FEMA.
Right.
To look into that kind of stuff. So
right.
Well, look, man, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I just want the people to be aware that we need them to come out, and we need them to come out and vote for their mayor, the mayor that they have presently right now. Do you realize that if you change the mayor, it's going to set East St. Louis back another 20 years? It's taken the mayor these last 4 years to put things back into place that we lost under the previous mayor, that we lost under some of those mayors that was there. And each time that is changed, that sets us back again. Give the mayor a second term to implement all the programs that he has now on the drawing board.
Yeah, I think that's a fair request. I try not to be partial in these interviews, but I've witnessed some great things happen in the last 4 years that a lot of people didn't think would happen. There's some associations made with different agencies, state and federal and county, that are sorely needed. And it is important to get things accomplished. So
right. And let's face this. The city will never be developed unless we get some outside developers coming into town.
There's no doubt about that.
We've got to attract outside money. And that outside money is someone's got to say, like Mark with up Lansdowne. Okay. Mark has said, hey, I'm willing to come in here and invest.
One thing about that, I just want to make sure that we're not gerrymandered out of it. We get a chance to participate in that as Black people in this city. And don't make sure we don't get cut out of it.
Well, I agree totally with what you're saying. Yeah. And I think that as we move forward, like with Broadview, Yaffet is talking about doing some training, you know, with the deal that she has. And making sure she got guys from East St. Louis participating in it, which is great.
Yeah, we worked together at when I was the EEO officer at IDOT. She was the director of MOCAN. And she did a heck of a lot to help me. Her and her dad, Eddie Hassan. Eddie Hassan did a lot to help me, and with what we were doing over here. In fact, as an EEO officer for IDOT, we won the outstanding agencies award for our aggressiveness and making sure that people were trained, and we worked on construction sites in our own cities. She's a champion for that kind of stuff.
She does. She is.
No doubt about it.
And I can't say enough about the job the mayor's done these last 4 years. I am well pleased with it. If I was not Lee, you know me, I would not have gotten out of my sick bed to do what I'm doing right now. And that is trying to guide the mayor's campaign. I think we're doing a lot to try to do that. I'm asking for prayers from everyone, but I'm asking more so than anything else for the people to come out and vote for our president mayor. That's the only way you're going to do it. And also for home rule.
Is there an information officer that people can call They ask these questions. We'll say, what is the mayor doing? What about this? What about that? Do they have an information officer? Do they have the information that they can give to people?
I think that's a breakdown that we may have,
Mhm.
that we are not able to do that. And I think people are tired of calling City Hall and getting all the tapes that they're receiving and getting the runaround about pushing one here to go there, push this to go there, you know. So I think we need one central point, one central place that can be done. And I know the mayor is concerned about that. I know he's concerned about that. And if given another term, which we're asking for, we're asking the people. We're asking the people, making a great appeal to the people of East St. Louis, come out and vote. And if those that used to live in East St. Louis, that I see going through getting a monitor every week, those that I see when East Side is playing football at state championship, that comes out. If you call your people that are still here and tell them the importance of this vote, it would help a great deal.
Okay. Okay, that'd be the last word, Mr. Frank Smith,
Thank you.
Former city clerk and friend of mine for years. And we've been on the same battlefield on a lot of issues over the last years that we've been knowing each other. So really appreciate you coming, and we're gonna try to get the mayor here before the week is out.
Good.
Yes, we'll try to do that, and some of the other candidates too. So
Good.
that's it. Appreciate you coming, and we're gonna wrap that up. And you can see this on YouTube within the next day or so. This interview will be on YouTube.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
See something.